Hey y'all, it is July the 6th, 2023, and I actually just got back from about a 2 mile approximate walk, and I've been doing it every morning and trying to habituate that habit, and I've been doing it on a daily, alright? About 2 miles, 1 mile back, 1 mile, of course, to and from, right? And, I've suggested for people if they say don't like exercise, might want to give walking a try. And of course, you could go on the internet and see all these different celebrities, for example, who started walking daily. And of course, they reshaped themselves and reshaped their lives, probably, and their health. Shout out to those people, alright, making gains or making losses, doing the walking and stuff like that. I wanted to bring up, I was talking to a friend. I was talking to a person who I know the other day, and we were mentioning exercise. We were bantering on about exercise. And he mentioned to me that, it's kind of hard to wake up and start to exercise. Something like wake up and start to exercise before you go to work. And it's kind of hard to do that because it's kind of hard to just wake up and do that. And he mentioned that, of course, after work, work is kind of taxing physically and more so mentally taxing. So a lot of people don't like to work out after work. I'm not big on working out after work. I'm not very big on it personally. And I might have to change that habit soon. I'm about to go to work pretty soon. All right, go back to work. I've been out of work, been on a hiatus for a couple of months now. All right, I'm about to go back to work and see if I can implement this lifestyle that I've been conjuring up over here. There's a lot to be said about it, but I'm not going to bore you right now. When people start very loud vehicles over there, I just want to tell you that walking, pretty dang good idea, but don't take my word for it. Now, the thing is, after my surgery and during my recovery, I definitely implemented walking, and it's soothing and it's calming, and it also works out your whole body. Right? Me personally, I've leveled up since then. It's been a little while. For example, you might could tell I'm wearing a weighted vest. You might say, well, that's insane. That's insanity. And of course, you look like an insane person out there. Maybe. But I'll be walking. I just walked 2 miles carrying 10-pound dumbbells. I'll be leveling up over here. And the reason is because, yes, walking will it'll get your blood flowing. It'll get your body a moving. And I would suggest, just because I've been implementing it, is a walk in the morning. The reason I say this is because I can relate. When I wake up, I don't exactly want to start doing push-ups and squats and stuff like Andrew Tate probably does. I don't want to do that. Not when I wake up. It takes a while. So what I've been doing cleverly, tricking my body, is what I've been doing is waking up, and after I wake up, I go walking. And I've been implementing secret weapons such as a weighted vest and the weights to level up. However, to begin with, if someone was to begin walking, they wouldn't start off with the weights. You don't have to worry about weights. Just walk, and you lose weight and stuff like that, and you'll start to feel the macho madness probably a brewing, or if you're a lady, the female madness. You're gonna feel it brewing. And you could perhaps then start to level up. Of course, you can get a weighted vest. You can get little small weights, 5-pound weights, 2.5-pound weights, and implement that. The beauty of that is what I want to explain for people to consider out there, is that you can start walking, even carrying these weights, and it's not hard. It's not grueling. It's not high impact at all. You're just kind of shuffling through the morning light. And hopefully it's early in the day. Lord knows I'm gonna probably have to work overnights. But the walking, getting all pumped up, getting all juiced up, getting all jacked up, and perhaps then leveling up, right? Because you'll start to see mass be put on. I say that from experience, all right? I'm starting to experience mass being put on. Thing is, I heard about walking and carrying weights on the YouTube from some strongman bodybuilder, the strongest man in the world. And of course, he'd be using very big weights, but that's what he'd be doing, walking. He called it like a farmer's carry. That's what they call it in the exercise world. So you can farmer's carry, and plus also myself, I'm using lighter weights, 10-pound weights. And so while I'm walking, for example, I could look like a crazy person out there, but I'm getting jacked. While you're walking, you can implement all sort of arm calisthenics, being is that you have dumbbells in your hands, right? You could do two at one time, not even hard. You could do two things at one time if you pay attention correctly, and you could perhaps ponder life's mysteries at the same time, right? That's how simple it is. I just came back from doing that. That's how simple it is. And what I want to explain is in the 2 mile walk, if you can make time for it, a lot of people have the excuse that they can't make time for it. That's all right. You could do like we did this morning, for example, and have caffeine by your bedside. And then as soon as you wake up, slam that caffeine. You'll get the hell up. And you'll do it pretty quickly. Right? So after you do that, you can start walking. Maybe later on today, you could go buy some dumbbells maybe, or a weighted vest or something, and start leveling up. But I would say slow progress is probably key. What I want to explain is that on the 2 miles that I just walked, that anybody could just walk, you'll start off easy going. It's not going to be very strenuous. Alright, you'll be able to wrap your mind around it in the morning. Even if you're just still waking up, you'll be wrapping your mind around, okay, I'm starting to get pumping. Okay, I'm starting to get pumping. And you're going to be thinking about that as you walk and you start to gain momentum, start to gain macho minutes. You're going to start flexing. You're going to start straining with those weights and doing things with those weights. You are going to bust a sweat. Alright, especially in San Antonio, Texas, for sure. But probably wherever you're at. If you have these weights and you're walking, you're catching that macho madness, you're going to start to bust a sweat. Alright, at the end of that 2 miles, just 2 miles, that's it. At the end of that 2 miles, you are going to be pouring with sweat. Your whole shirt's going to be drenched. I'm sitting here damp right now. At the end of this little embargo, 2 miles, carrying the weights, doing a little calisthenics, flexing, getting my muscles and putting mass on them. As I'm doing that, it's pouring sweat. Alright? It's a good way to start the day. Like, that's not even my workout. If I have time and I can put it in there, that's not even my workout. Later on in the day, I will work out. It's kind of hard to do being summertime temperatures out here in San Antonio, Texas. But lots of times I will implement a workout later on in the day. That's simply a warm-up. It's to get you jacked in the morning. Alright, and the thing is, if you do nothing else, and if you only do that, you will get jacked in the morning. You will have better form all throughout the day. You will have burned so many calories that you're at a calorie deficit. Your metabolism will be soaring through the roof. You're going to be experiencing all sort of benefits, to include dominating on people who kind of like within your little bubble. You're going to dominate on them just because you know full well that you were carrying such big weights and you've already been through the struggle today. All right. And I would like to remind y'all that over there at the White House, it's very interesting because they start off the day probably with cocaine. Got powder cocaine found at the White House. And who's surprised? Of course, going to be spin. Of course, the news going to come out and say, oh, Donald Trump Jr. probably forgot a long time ago his powder cocaine over there in the White House. Can you imagine a situation, say, like allegedly, hypothetically, if you were Hunter Biden, you could do cocaine wherever you want. You could have pictures of yourself doing cocaine and all sort of other things on a laptop. Turn in a laptop and just forget all about it. Do that 2 times. Do the laptop thing 2 times. Have cocaine out whenever you do whatever. You got the best of the best. And if it falls out of your pocket and they find it and secret search find it, who gives a damn? You're just gonna say Donald Trump Jr. did it. Can you imagine that? Imagine you had the power to do that and you also had an affinity for cocaine. You would never ever stop doing cocaine and you'd be hella addicted, and it'd be nothing like, why would you stop? It doesn't make any sense. So over here we might be slamming caffeine, and that's already kind of dangerous. Over there they'd be slamming the cocaine, and so they're on superpower time. They got the Macho Man that's for real. You better watch out, man. They might have superhuman gorilla strength. Hunter might have superhuman gorilla strength, all we know. Okay? Gotta get up out of here, but I do want to bring up later and talk about the fact is that, believe it or not, and you can look into it, and we're going to talk about it later, probably one of the best thought out health supplements in the world, for those people who are like into health supplements, I am too. Did you know that probably one of the best thought out, and I don't even know these people or their background or how they did it or why they did it, how they came up with this, but the best health supplement, one of in the whole world, did you know? It's likely Coca-Cola. And I don't mean the garbage that they have out today, obviously, because that's poison. It'll kill you. It's meant to kill you. But it's classic and it runs in our veins here in America. Alright, that Coca-Cola. But did you know that back in the day, it was actually a health supplement? Much like caffeine, the cocaine, put some of the cocaine in the mixture, got it all bubbly, started adding little herbs and stuff to. Do you realize what that is? Coca-Cola. Little bubbly, and now they're doing it today with sparkling waters and vitamins. Haven't you noticed? It's the same exact formula, except maybe, I'm not sure how much sugar they added back in the day, but obviously it was going to wind up being way too much sugar. And the thing is, they swapped out the sugar for high fructose corn syrup anyways, totally screwing us. But one of the worst drinks that you could have today in the world is Coca-Cola. And it was probably one of the most remarkable health supplements back in the day. And somehow we lost control of all that. Something to think about. Anyways, it's July 6, 2020, 2023.